Good morning and welcome back to Hillbilly Builds. Got my 92 Firebird out here. Getting ready to work on something on the top. I've got some top rust. I'm going to talk about that. We're going to do that this morning. Really soon. I'm getting back on this Jeep. I'm going to start finishing the floor pans on it and get this LS engine out of this truck, get it going in there. I've just had so much stuff going on. I just haven't had the time to get it back over here. I also got this greenhouse frame that I bought. I have put up, trying to get figured out what I'm going to do with it. So I'll have me a little makeshift paint booth or whatever I decide to use it for. But this morning, I'm going to sand and prime the top of my Firebird. Let me take you over here and show you what's going on with it. I don't know what happens to these Firebirds, but right here, I've got rust. Let me flip this camera around and I'll show y'all what I'm working with. So this is a common Firebird problem, and I don't really understand why it happens. You wouldn't think that this part of the vehicle would rust. It's on top, the water runs off of it. I could see if there was rust down in here, but there's no rust down in the window gap. This vehicle has no rust anywhere. It's got a couple of surface rust spots right here where the paint has chipped on the hood. But nowhere else in this car, there's no rust. There's no rust in the quarter panels. There's no rust in the rocker panels. There's no rust in the fenders, the hood. Nothing has rust except right here on top. If you guys watching this video know why this Firebird rusts on top, and all Firebirds rust on top, shoot me a comment, let me know. I don't know. However, I do have to get this fixed. I don't want this to keep spreading and get worse. I don't know if somebody has repaired this in the past and didn't do a good job or what's going on. But I'm about to take this paint stripper wheel. I'm going to take all the paint off this, and then I'm going to treat the metal. I'm going to prime it with some self-etching primer. Then I'm going to put some gray primer back over it. I don't know if I'm going to come all the way down to here or just go right to the edge. At this point, it doesn't really matter what it looks like because the car looks like Joe Dirt's cousin's vehicle. And this is how I bought it, and I haven't had a time to get into actually repairing the body and painting it, but I'm planning on doing that sometime this summer if I get around to it. I really want to get back on that Jeep over there, guys. I really want to get that LS engine in that Jeep. So this project may have to wait until next summer, or I'm not exactly sure, but overall I really like this car. It's a good running car. Of course, my headlight motor's messed up on my driver's side. I gotta get one of those. But overall, this is a great little car. Decent interior. But I'm going to set this camera up. I'm going to get this top stripped. Probably put this on a time lapse. And then when I get done stripping the paint off of it, then I'll turn it back on and show you guys how I'm going to rust treat it. All right, so I got all the paint off, all the primer, factory paint, all the way down to metal. But as you can see, the metal is pitted, and it's actually getting kind of thin right there. It's not thin, it doesn't have any holes in it, but it's getting thin enough to where if I ground all that pitting out and got rid of the pitting, there wouldn't be enough sheet metal, and I'd have to replace sheet metal. And I'm not doing that right now. Could I probably do that? Yes. There's good sheet metal around the edges, and there's good sheet metal over here. I could probably cut out a piece and replace that whole piece and weld it in. I'm not doing that right now. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to treat this rust with some rust converter. And I'm going to show y'all how to do it. I'm going to paint this stuff on. I'll show you what I've got, where I got it from, and how I'm going to do it. I'm going to paint this stuff on the rust. It's going to convert the rust. I'm not exactly sure of the scientific process. There's plenty of YouTube videos about how to do it. Once that sits and cures, then I'm going to sand it one more time, and I'm going to spray over it with a self-etching primer. I'm going to tape off my windows. Probably tape a line about right here. I don't care if you can see the line because I'm going to eventually come back and sand this and paint it. But I'm going to tape off here, all around here, and I'm going to spray this with self-etching primer. Now, if you were watching my time lapse, you will notice that I did not tape off these T-tops when I was doing this paint stripping. Listen, guys, if you are really, really strong and you're good at using a angle grinder, and you know that you have enough control with your angle grinder that you're not going to hit that T-top, go ahead and do what I did. However, if you're new to using an angle grinder, if you're not on the stronger side, if you've not been a mechanic for 20 years, you've not got strong wrists and a strong grip, and you do this, you're most likely going to mess up your T-tops. You need to put multiple layers of painter's tape right here and tape some cardboard over both glasses, because if you let that paint stripping wheel get on that glass, you just ruined your glass. So don't do what I did unless you're pretty daggone sure that you're good with an angle grinder and you're not going to let it get away. Let me go in here and get this stuff and we'll get started on treating this metal. All right, guys, what I have right here is called Concrete and Metal Prep, Klean Strip brand. I got it from Lowe's Hardware. It says it removes rust from metal, preps metal for painting, and etches concrete so coatings can adhere. It's not very expensive. It comes in a jug like this. They make different brands of it. This is what they had at my local Lowe's. I'm going to put it in a old paint can that I had, and I'm going to use a chip brush from Harbor Freight. These chip brushes are very cheap. When I get done, I can just throw it away. It's not costing me maybe less than $1 for this chip brush. The other thing is, you don't want this stuff on your glass. I don't know that it would hurt glass. I'm not going to take the chance on it hurting my glass. So I'm going to be very careful when I'm applying it to make sure it does not get on any of my glass. I'm going to put some of this in here and we're going to paint it on the top of this metal right here where this rust is at. I'm just going to paint all the bare metal. This is supposed to etch the metal. And it's supposed to get rid of the rust, remove the rust and convert it to a different, instead of iron oxide, it converts it to some other chemical. I don't know the scientific words for all the chemicals that it does, but that's what it's supposed to do. And you can see it doing something because the rust turns from the iron oxide brown color to a black color when you're done. So I've just took that Klean Strip product and just painted it right onto the metal and right onto the rust. You can already see the rust changing from a brown, rusty iron oxide color to a black. It does some type of a chemical conversion and converts that iron oxide over to something that's not iron oxide. Something that you can paint over and it shouldn't come back. So let me read the instructions on this jug. Directions for use: remove any oil, grease, and dirt. Remove loose rust with a wire brush. Apply product to affected metal full strength with a paintbrush, spray bottle, or pump sprayer. Work the solution into rusted areas with a stiff bristle brush. And allow product to dry overnight to fully neutralize rust. Rinse or wipe surface with a damp cloth to remove any rust residue. Paint treated surface within 48 hours of application to prevent formation of new rust. 2 applications may be necessary to treat severe rust. For treating metal, for painting, phosphatizing, remove any oil, grease, and dirt from surface. Dilute 1 part product with 3 parts water. Apply product to metal with a paintbrush, spray bottle, or pump sprayer. Leave on 30 minutes or up to overnight. Surface may turn gray or white. Thoroughly rinse with water. Wipe off any loose powder that forms. Paint treated surface within 48 hours to prevent formation of new rust. So I'm probably going to let that sit on there for about 15 or 20 minutes. Probably going to put another coat over top of this. I don't know if you guys can see. I can see it with my eyes. Let me see if I can get y'all zoom in. Okay. If you can see what I'm looking at right here, there's still some brown areas that still have rust down in the pits, but the rest of it has turned black. all of that you see that is not shiny metal is iron oxide. So my goal is to convert all of the iron oxide, even those tiny little brown spots, to that black substance. I think it's iron phosphate. I'm not sure, but you guys can look it up online and it'll tell you what that stuff is. After I do that and I rinse it off, I'm going to put 2 applications of this stuff on there. I'm going to let it cure for a couple hours. I'm going to rinse it off. I'm going to dry the water off really fast so it doesn't create a surface rust. Then I'm going to DA over this with some probably 150 grit or 180 grit DA. Once I do that, then I'm going to go back and I'm going to paint it with a self-etching primer. All right, so this particular area right here doesn't seem to be treating quite as well or quite as fast as all the rest of it because it's deeper. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take a stiff bristle wire brush and I'm going to work this product down into these pits, and you can see what's happening as I'm scrubbing this. You can see it turning brown. That rust is being ate away by this acid in this product. All right, now I'm gonna go in my building and get a rag. I'm gonna wipe that off. All right, these rags I get at Walmart on a roll. It's about $25 for 100 rags. It's a super good deal. They come on a roll, hang them up on a paper towel holder. It works very well. Put some more product on there. Now I'm going to go to the other side. I'm going to do the same thing with this wire brush. Anywhere there's rust, while the product is sitting on there, I'm going to rub it into the metal with this stiff bristle wire brush. And wipe it off. Then apply a small amount of more product. You don't want to get this stuff on your hands, guys. You definitely don't want to get it in your eyes. I'm being very careful, but you probably should be wearing safety glasses. Don't do as I do, do as I say. Wear safety glasses with this stuff. If you get it in your eye, it's going to burn. It may, if you get a large amount of it in your eye, it may cause permanent eye damage. So be very careful. It's acid, a strong acid. All right, guys, while I'm waiting on my rust treatment to work, you have to look over the mess I got in my driveway. I've been doing all kinds of stuff. I ain't had time to clean it up. So while I'm waiting on that product to cure, I want to show you guys this. It's something I bought a while back. I originally thought I would make a video on all the stuff I done to it, but decided not to. I'm trying to keep this channel mostly automotive content. However, if any of you viewers would like to see more about this motorcycle on this channel, let me know and I will make more videos of it. But I want to show you, I bought this thing from my neighbor up the road. It's a 1980 Yamaha TT 250. When I got it, it ran, but it barely ran. And it had all kinds of problems. The tires were dry rotted, the brakes didn't work, the brake cable right here was missing, the throttle lever was broke, the throttle cable was kind of crappy. It didn't have a front brake handle, didn't have no grips, or the grips were just crap. Seat wasn't covered, the tank was busted. It was all painted army green. The rear brakes would lock up on it. The rear tire was dry rotted. The exhaust was rotted out. The carburetor was all to hell. Didn't have an air filter. Now it does. So I have done a lot of stuff to this bike, and it is freaking awesome. Made this rear fender. It's a little janky, but it works. Made it out of a car bumper. As you can see, I've rode it some since I got it fixed. Put an Amazon special exhaust system on it. Built this exhaust system myself. So this is the original pipe that comes up to here. I cut it off right here. It went into a muffler, and that muffler was completely rotted out. I've actually got it laying out here. I can show you. So this is the factory muffler that was on it. As you can see, it sat right here like this. And the bottom of my muffler is rotted out. And all the heat that came off that thing right beside your leg right here, there was no cover, no shield to put back on it. And it would about burn you up. So I got some 1.5-inch pipe, welded it in right here. Got some 90-degree 1.5-inch stainless elbows. This went back in farther away from your leg. I turned it out, turned it back, and I got this off Amazon. It's stainless steel muffler. Put it all on. It actually sounds really good and runs pretty good. I did have to change my jet and my carburetor. I don't know who had the bike set up before, but they had it set up with a tube that ran down here and no air filter. And I don't like that. I don't want dust and stuff getting into my engine. So I put an air filter on it, and I put this larger open exhaust on it, but for some reason I had to jet it down, not up. I had to go smaller with the jet. I don't know if somebody put that jet in there to doctor the carburetor because they didn't have it clean and it wasn't working right, but when I jetted it down, it started running right. So anyway, this thing's pretty fun. I ended up painting the gas tank. That is one thing I wish I had to put on YouTube, because the way that I repaired this gas tank was awesome. This is a plastic gas tank. And this gas tank had a crack that ran from right here all the way down to right here. And that crack was leaking. So I tried to originally plastic weld it. That didn't work. I tried JB weld. That worked for a while. But eventually the JB weld started getting eat up by the gas and bubbling. It still wasn't leaking, but I needed to fix it. Ended up doing some research, and I sanded the whole tank down with 60 grit down to the plastic. And I used vinyl ester resin and fiberglass cloth. And I fiberglassed this whole gas tank over top of the plastic. All the way around to about right here is fiberglassed. I got a new petcock for it. After I fiberglassed it, used fiberglass reinforced body filler, smoothed everything out, bondoed the rest of everything that wasn't smooth, sanded it, wet sanded it about 5 or 10 times. And then I painted it with some pearl, purple, pink, and black mixed together. And this is the color that ended up being. I think it actually looks pretty good, even though it doesn't match the rest of the bike. It's still cool looking. If you guys want to see more of this bike, let me know, and I'll make some videos on it, either riding it, working on it, doing something to it. I thought about painting these fenders, but I'm going to be riding this thing in the woods, so I just can't. I don't think I can bring myself to paint it because I'm going to scratch it up. The tank was a have-to thing, and so I had to paint it, and I just had that paint laying around, so I used it. Anyway, I've been having a lot of fun on this thing. Just thought I'd show it to you guys while I'm waiting on this stuff to cure. All right, this has been sitting for about 15 or 20 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and put just a little bit more product on here and hit it with the wire brush again. All right, I'm gonna let it sit some more. Come back and do it again. All right, guys, I've been treating and wire brushing these two spots by hand for about an hour. I'm gonna hit them with my wire brush on my Dewalt grinder and see what it looks like. Go around to the other side. It's looking pretty good. I'm gonna go get a stiffer wire brush for my grinder, see if it does any better of taking the rest of that off. See what this thing does. All right, let me get y'all in here closer so you can see what we're dealing with. So here's these spots that were rusted and pitted. This is after I've treated it for about an hour, wire brushed it, treated it, wire brushed it, maybe an hour and a half. And then I've hit it with a wire brush on a grinder to knock all the loose rust and stuff that was on there. As you can see, I still see brown. That's not what I want. I want all that brown to be turned to a black color. So I'm gonna put some more of this stuff on there and keep treating it until all that is black. That's my goal. I don't want this coming back through my paint. All right, I've started painting. Started priming this with self-etching primer. I have let that product sit on that metal, on that rust, and work and stuff for probably 2 or 3 hours, and went back and wire brushed it and everything. I'm using self-etching primer now over top of the metal, bare metal, and it's still pitted, but after a while I'm gonna put this primer on, then I'm gonna let it dry. I'm gonna put some more different kind of primer on, let it dry, and I'm gonna wait for a while to make sure I don't see any bubbling or cracking of the paint. If I don't, then I'll sand this with like 80 grit and I'll put body filler over this pitting and smooth it all out. And then prime it again and paint it. I've also done quite a few spots on my hood that had bare metal showing. I guess stuff had hit the hood and chipped the paint. Water had got up under it. Like I said before, I don't know who painted this car with yellow over top of the pretty factory blue color. Wish they hadn't have, but they did, so now I got to deal with it. But I'm going to spray all these spots that I've sanded with self-etching primer. To paint the car, then I'll probably strip it all the way back down the middle. Take all this primer that I'm putting on here back off. Alright, so I've got one coat of self-etching primer on everything that was down to bare metal that I've been working on today. I'm going to let that dry. Probably going to put gray primer back over top of it that closely matches the gray primer that's already on the car. Alright, I'm going to show y'all the finished product of what I've done today. Car's already 3 or 4 different colors. Might as well make it 4 or 5 different colors. Ran out of gray primer, which was the wrong color gray primer than from this. So I sprayed gray, which I ran out of that. So then I had some black, well, dark gray or black primer. Ended up using that to finish this spot. Be all right. I'm gonna flip this thing around and show y'all the finished product on the top. All right, so 2 different color primers on the top. Like I said, I'm running out of primer, so I had to do what I could with what I had. You can still see the pitting, but hopefully I've got the rust stopped under there. That was my main goal. And now once this dries, I can sand this with 80 grit or 180 grit and put some body filler in here and smooth all this out. Then DA it all down, block it, and paint over top of it. There's no other rust spots on the entire car that I've seen. Little tiny stuff like this, but no more large pitting spots on the car besides right here on top and those little places on the hood. But both sides of this top over there, a little bit in the middle and right in here, these cars are prone for that, and I don't know why. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but I guess the paint cracks from the sun, from the heat, and then water gets underneath it. But hopefully I got it neutralized. I really appreciate y'all for watching the Hillbilly Builds YouTube channel. Tune back in. Eventually I'm gonna paint this car. And really soon, my plan is to get back on this Jeep, finish the floor pans, and start getting that LS engine bolted in it. Hopefully before long I'll have that video up, or the next video in that series. Don't forget, if you guys want to see content off this, if you guys want to see me repaint this whole bike, put it in the comment section. I'll make some content on this bike. It's really cool, and I love keeping old retro stuff like this going. It's just an awesome thing, having something that's older than me that runs and drives and I can have fun on and keeping it going. Check this out real quick before you leave. I hit a daggone deer yesterday on the way home from work. Stupid deer. Dented my door. Daggone. That's what happens when you got a beater and you drive it every day in the mountains of Virginia. Daggone deer, man. It is what it is. I've also got another problem with my wife's Subaru that I got to work on. When I bought her this car, I knew I was going to have to do this. Somebody has painted this thing in the past, and they put about 1/4 inch of Bondo on here. I think they mixed too much hardener in it, and it cracked, and water got underneath it and rusted it. Say it's been this way since I bought it. It's not really pitted, it's just surface rust. But I've got to strip this entire top of this Subaru. It's going to be a huge job, and I've got to paint the top of this car and keep it from rusting away on me. The car's only got 110,000 miles on it. It's a 2009. It's got a lot of life left in it. I need to fix that so it don't get any worse. If you guys want to see that on this channel, let me know down in the comment section, and I'll record what I do and put it on there when I fix the top of this car. Thanks a whole bunch for watching. I'll see you next time on Hillbilly Builds.